Welcome to the Undrafted Uncensored
I don't think we're live,
Pod.
There we go.
Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanger. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome in everyone to the Undrafted Uncensored, a part of the 80 sports lifestyle thing. I lost my train of thought. I don't know about you guys, but we have to really sit down and have a discussion with Detroit. I was starting to plan my trip this summer, thinking maybe I want to hit Detroit as well. And when I can't find a hotel for under $300 in the murder capital of the world, we have some issues.
I found my hotel no problem.
Yeah, it's because you work for a hotel.
There's perks involved here.
Yeah. See, I don't work for a hotel, so I have to think outside the box here a little bit.
You know, well, don't try and put the city of Detroit on blast. You might get blasted. You might get blasted for doing such a thing.
Oh,
that's why I'm staying downtown, because I know I'll be safer there. Well, I do have to go to the museum though. I'm still gonna put them on blast. I don't care. As long as I don't end up near 8 Mile, I'm fine. About mile 4 is probably where I'm gonna get tired anyway.
You know, Nick, if you had one shot.
We're not gonna be quoting any of that, but I will say before we go,
a 21st century poet.
Sad day in country music. Toby Keith passed away.
Yeah.
Huge music
guy, so I'll let you two
artist guy.
Well, I don't like country music at all, really. I just think Toby Keith was cool and he was funny and he was just like a cool dude. I had friends who were in the country. Exactly, Red Solo Cup. Didn't he do the I'll Never smoke weed with Willie again?
Yep, never smoke weed with Willie
wonderful.
Again.
He was just a cool dude, you know. I feel like his shit kind of spanned multiple genres, because it was just straight up country. There was nothing else about it. It was just fun and he didn't care, and it wasn't the same old, you know, stuff that makes me not enjoy country. It was just in the country style, and it was just kind of cool.
Yeah, the songs got played at multiple venues for different things. You mentioned some Red Solo Cup and Never Smoke Weed with Willie Again, and huge artist. And you know what you thought was a bounce back for him. I think it was stomach cancer. Thought he was bouncing back, but he, unfortunately passed away. So really a music icon. You know, definitely in country music, but famous all around for multitude of things. But just wanted to talk about him for a moment.
You knew him for his bars and restaurants that were opened up. I know we had one over here in Stapleton a while back, Northfield. That was actually where I got to go see Aaron Lewis play.
Okay. They always had live acts.
Yeah, they did. I did. That was the one thing I did enjoy about that place. I'm like, you know, I already said I'm not a country music guy, but just, I mean, music in general, being a musician, I love anytime I can go watch live music. I may complain, cry, bitch, and moan about being at a country show, but eventually I'm going to get into it because I'm just going to get into the music itself.
Yeah. Or into the girl who's pretty, who's right over here, who's really into the music. That's what gets it for a lot of people.
That always helps. It
really does, man. Like I said, I still don't really get into country much, but, you know, Toby Keith was just...
them jeans and them accents. Get me every time.
Cool. Oh, yeah. You know, hey, you know, cute girls are cute girls, you know. I like plenty of people that like things I don't like, you know. I have friends who are Raider fans, just like Sean Boyd from the station. He's got a Raider tattoo, and I give him shit for it all the time. But we didn't beat the Raiders this year, so I still lose those arguments.
Or last year.
Yeah. Give it time. Maybe it'll happen again.
One of these days.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can beat Antonio Pierce. There's always next year.
Well, we'll focus on this year. Apparently, San Francisco was not happy with UNLV, their practice facilities.
UNLV's like, we didn't even realize. We thought it was fine.
Apparently, they were actually supposed to put it in next week, and
Oh, sure.
contractor showed up early. Here you go.
Convenient excuse.
Go ahead. Go right ahead and put the stuff in now.
Yeah, why not? Okay. Yeah, it must be tough. But the thing that the NFL did, or the teams did, I guess it's really smart, is I mean they're not by the strip.
No.
If those guys
pretty close to the strip.
Well, that's where they're practicing. It's not where they're staying, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good point.
So they're, it's been put out in the news, obviously, that they're not staying by the strip, or close to it, which is good on those teams to be the difference with distractions. You just kind of wonder. You kind of wonder if these complaints and this bitching and moaning is kind of playing like the Broncos in New York, though. I kind of have a little bit of flashbacks to where it feels like the 49ers should win this game. It felt like the Broncos should have beaten the Seahawks. It felt like all these things. But then there was, oh, well, what city? We're not in the city, and blah, blah, blah. There were all these things that they were talking about that were outside of the game itself. And I'm wondering if the 49ers are getting a little bit of that now. Like they feel like they deserve.
They got slighted.
They got slighted, or that they just deserve better.
Slightly.
Like they've been there before. When it's the Chiefs who have been there, and you don't hear anything out of their camp. I talked about it 2 years ago when the Chiefs lost, how there was all the noise going on around that team when Reed's son got in trouble for the DUI before the Super Bowl. All the things that were happening around the Chiefs.
They were also playing Tom Brady.
Well, yeah, but still, it's
hey, there's my guy.
When you hear about those things going on around outside of the team, that's usually just another distraction, and I don't like it for teams. I don't like it when you hear about them not being happy about a practice facility. Figure it out, guys. It's okay. Well, you'll be fine.
They basically said, we don't, forget it. We don't care. We're just going to stay here anyway. So the 49ers did the right thing. They just pretty much said, all right, this is what we got. We'll deal with it.
Yeah. We'll just work harder,
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I can see where they're coming from, because you want, it's the Super Bowl. You want to have the best of the best. You've got, you guys have probably seen it with guys at your station too. All, who all's out there on Radio Row, and, the stars and that are showing up or getting there now and things like that. It's the best of the best. Everybody's putting their best foot forward, and as a team, you want to have the best practice facility you can, and you would think, a college campus would take care of you, and it is what it is. Why the Raiders allowed the Chiefs on their practice facility, by the way, beyond me. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, like, why are the Niners the ones getting slighted here? Why are the Raiders not like, well, it just doesn't feel like the same Raiders, Like, I have nothing against Mark Davis, and that's kind of the problem. Like, he's not done anything that pisses me off. Like, he should be like, no, fuck the Chiefs. I want them to lose in any way, shape, or form.
His dad would have had the Chiefs practicing in Henderson.
Yeah, absolutely. Send him to fucking Reno.
Yeah.
Isn't that where the University of Nevada plays?
No.
Send them there.
The Wolfpack. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. The Wolfpack. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. He would have them like flying in every day instead of busing in.
Yeah.
Because it's so much more inconvenient.
He probably would have sent him out to the Bunny Ranch.
Pull a Red Auerbach and turn the heat up.
Well, you did mention they're not staying on the strip, so it wouldn't be surprising if just magical bus appeared.
Correct.
He booked them
not
like
close to
hotels on the strip, specifically on the strips. Every player's getting shit faced and gambling every night, or really trying hard not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have all the information out for where they're staying.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That's honestly, if he was still owning the Raiders, they wouldn't have let him move to Vegas.
Well, Vegas is even like starting to turn away from the A's.
Well, that's what the mayor isn't stupid. She has a brain. She's like, yeah, they should probably try to stay in the city where they're from and everyone loves them. I don't want to just take every single Oakland team here to Vegas. Like, obviously Vegas is a great city and I'll support, any kind of major league sport here. But she was also talking about their plan for a stadium doesn't make sense. And they kind of need to go back to the drawing board in that sense too. So she's like, honestly, they should just figure it out and stay in Oakland. That's where they're from. That's the spot. Like, have you guys seen Moneyball?
It was such a rash decision too. It's just like all of a sudden we'd all heard the rumblings for a while. Oh, the A's are moving to Vegas. The A's are moving to Vegas, and it was just like all of a sudden, hey, we're moving to Vegas. Pack your bags.
2 years. Yep. Let's go.
Let's go. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We're just doing it. Go ahead and vote for it, owners. But we're already doing it. We have land and everything. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Try to stop us.
Who gives a shit? It's like when the Chargers moved, but they had a few years because it took them a while to get to LA. But yeah, nobody really cared. It's like the opening to the movie Basketball when they're like, and the Oakland Raiders moved to Los Angeles and then back to Oakland, and no one really seemed to care or notice or whatever he says.
Both.
I fucked it up.
I don't know. Vegas is an interesting place, and I think they don't want to overstep their bounds either because they've got a good thing going right now. They have a beautiful football venue. They've got a winning hockey team right now.
They're a hockey town.
You want to ease yourself into some of these professional sports because you're the entertainment capital of the world right now. You want to go see sports? Go to Vegas. You want to go see a show? Go to Vegas. You want to see whatever? Go to Vegas. You want to gamble? Go to Vegas. You want to drink until 3:00 in the morning? Go to Vegas.
There you go. You know what I would love is if is baseball talking about trying to expand? Like the NBA is considering. Because I would love that if they just gave Vegas an expansion team and then the A's had nowhere to fucking go.
Nah, I think they've got their cities already picked, but that would be funny.
I would love that a lot, but no, the NBA is thinking about it, so the cities are probably just going to be Seattle and Vegas. Bring back the Sonics and the Vegas Silver Knights, the Red Knights. I don't know why the color for the Knights seems to be important, but
it's golden.
All right,
the Golden Knights. They'll have the Crimson Samurais.
Yeah.
The Blue Vikings. I don't know.
All right, Colin, let me throw a question.
Green Berets.
Will Kyle Shanahan's legacy be defined by Sunday?
No, it's defined by 28-3.
Defined, no. Because he still has plenty of chances. I believe he still has a lot of chances to get back.
This isn't where he's labeled a Marty Schottenheimer?
I think.
No, he's already way better in the playoffs. Schottenheimer didn't make it to enough Super Bowls because I don't think he ever made it to any.
He did not, and he wasn't the head coach. Granted, he was the offensive coordinator when they lost the 20, to the Patriots. But he also he's taking a team that has the very Mr. Irrelevant at quarterback, and as well as Brock Purdy has played and as good as he's played, you still sit back, and that will be the reason why things didn't go well because it'll be twisted. It'll be twisted the way that if he doesn't get back, that this quarterback wasn't the guy who could run his full offense, that he couldn't do all the things that Shanahan wants him to be able to do. That's how I think it'll get twisted. If he doesn't, if he never gets back, then yeah, of course it will. But I think it's still so early in such a promising career that I don't think you can say it defines him, but it could haunt him for a lot of years, a la John Elway never winning one. Or even Dan Reeves, it could be a Dan Reeves type of situation a lot more than maybe, I guess, John Elway. But I think him as a coach will be able to lead another team to a Super Bowl again because he is innovative and he's also shown he has the ability to adapt to the NFL. Whether it's losing one of your guys mid-game, sometimes he's a little slower, but he's got so much talent on that team that it helps that he's able to adapt. It helps him to adapt. So no, not yet, but yeah, he's in he's in territory of getting in Reeves' area, where
Yeah.
Reeves might not be a Hall of Famer because of it.
Well, but I mean, Reeves, I think, was a little bit different. Shanahan would have to be fucking it up himself, like Reeves always did. Like Reeves would just get so conservative and just kind of shut down. Schottenheimer would do the same thing. They would just, it was almost kind of like shortening the rotation in basketball, except they would just shorten the playbook and just run the ball and try to play the clock game. And it was just like that wasn't necessarily the best way to do it for every game. That's why Elway had to bail out the Broncos so often in the fourth quarter. So I feel like Shanahan would have to be more at fault as a head coach because, like I said, 28-3, he was the play caller. So he just did not run the ball, and that I think has haunted him. And I think he's learned from that. He's realized that you still need to run. You need to run the ball when you're ahead to keep your lead. That's why he was so good with a lead as a head coach. And sadly didn't have a lot of comebacks until recently. All of a sudden they figured that out, which is awesome for them. But no, I think he would have to somehow screw it up, go for it on fourth down when you don't have to. Dan Campbell. And I love Dan Campbell, so I think he'll be fine. I think he just went a little bit too hard, and I think he realizes that. I think he's too smart not to realize that. So I'm just projecting, but he better fucking realize it. But I think he does. But no, yeah, I don't think Shanahan will be quite Reeves-esque. It's almost like early Andy Reid with the Eagles, how they never quite got there, but they were so good all the time, and they were constantly in the conversation. Honestly, that's now I think about it, because they went to so many NFC Championship games in a row, similar to the Niners. So yeah, I think he's more in that range because he's too good. Dan Reeves got in his own way and didn't want flashy, super talented players. He wanted guys to run his system. And, the only flashy, talented guy was, of course, fucking Elway. Huh?
That sounds familiar.
I know, right? Yeah. So I feel like that's what it would have to come down to. But also, he keeps having this kind of shit happen to him. It's going to keep haunting him. People are going to keep bringing up, like I said, the 28-3. I think they maybe could have ran the ball more against the Chiefs when they lost that Super Bowl, but that was just, I think the Chiefs was better is really all it was. They were just, Jimmy Garoppolo is your quarterback, and, crazy shit has to go your way, and it just didn't. And I kind of feel the same about this game, but with McCaffrey and Debo and Brandon Ayuk and Kittle, I feel like they have a better shot of being able to do stuff with Brock Purdy. And if their defense can hold Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, which most playoff teams have been able to, but I don't know, man, any given Sunday, just like that movie, any given Sunday.
There's I don't know if I think I forgot to send this to you guys. Found a video the other day after the end of the Super Bowl when the Chiefs beat the Niners, and it's just focused on George Kittle. And he's just standing there and he says, "We're going to be back here, and this is going to be ours." Basically, he stood there and watched that celebration take place in front of his eyes so that he had that fire when this Super Bowl comes around.
Well, so did Stephon Diggs against the Chiefs.
Yeah, Stephon Diggs is something different.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Nick. But this is, for a Shanahan question, yeah, it's going to be a part of it. It's always going to be a part of it until he wins one.
Mm-hmm.
It was always a part of Elway's legacy until he won one. It was a part of Manning's legacy too.
Took him 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but even if you look at some of the other games, the 49ers could have lost to the Packers. They actually
should have lost to the Packers.
Yes, they should have. The game against the Lions, they started off like they missed their flight and didn't show up to their home game. you know, they were already in Vegas. Maybe, I don't know, but that's kind of Shanahan getting these guys ready, and either they were already looking ahead to this Super Bowl moment, or it's a lot of things. Like they were looking ahead and Shanahan didn't realize it and get them straightened out, or Shanahan has a timid game plan. He's afraid of something like 28-3.
Well, but you can't. I'm not. I don't know how I want to phrase this. He should know by now. You can't go in with a timid game plan. You have to go out there and be aggressive, especially once you reach this part of the season, because
aggressive.
If you spell the word aggressive out right now, I swear to God, the next time I see you, I'm gonna slap you in the mouth.
I would probably fuck it up and like double up on some of the letters that didn't have two.
Live show this Saturday night, everybody.
Hey, gee.
Oh Lord. I mean, he should know at this point, though. I mean, do you think his dad talks to him at all about the potential in this game right now? Like, okay, you lost your first one. You're going in, you get yourself a rematch. Mike didn't even get rematches. Mike
won both of his.
Packers, yeah, Mike got the Packers and the Falcons.
Uh-huh.
So
Vikings, that would have been so
at
good.
any point, do you think Mike's been in Kyle's ear at all, like, you know, tidbits of advice, or do you think this is dad just letting his son do what he's good at?
But he just lets him go. He said that before, that he's there as a sounding board, and whenever Kyle asks for advice and stuff, which he does, and uses his dad's knowledge for sure, but he lets him do his thing, lets him learn from his own mistakes and, do it sort of his way. He's kind of, he's definitely advanced the Shanahan style offense, the zone, read, but, Shanahan was the one that revolutionized the Bill Walsh offense and really made it what it was. And so there's, that's the tree. Everyone calls it the Shanahan tree, but really it's the Bill Walsh tree. But he's the one that really, I think, innovated it and made it, that West Coast offense what it could be with the zone runs, the play actions, and everything. In addition to quick passing and all those concepts. But yeah, man, I think he's just one of those guys. If his dad gave him too much advice, I think it might kind of hinder him. You almost just want to let him cook. Just let him do his own thing, and he'll, improve. Like I said, sadly, the 28-3 thing, he should have known to run the ball, and he didn't. He was young. That's how it goes. I think he'll never make that mistake again. If he ever gets another lead in a Super Bowl, I think they're gonna try to put him away. But I think he deserves, that much of the credit. I think Mike's like raising him and all that, obviously, and kind of giving him a chance in football to move up the ranks has a lot to do with it. But I think Kyle's kind of done it, his own way.
And I think they definitely talk legacy and stuff like that. But as far as game plan goes, I mean, his dad's not that Mike doesn't follow the game anymore, but Mike's been out of this game for a while now, and it's different. So I think like game planning scheme wise, sure, I think they don't talk about that. But the one thing I think that Mike
40-yard touchdown pass to your fullback.
But yeah, he does not have Howard Griffith.
Yeah, I was going to say Howard Griffith is
no, they do. Kyle Juszczyk is absolutely the modern day equivalent of Howard Griffith.
There's no one equivalent to Howard Griffith.
No,
that's
slander.
You could argue there's no one equivalent to Kyle Juszczyk. That guy's a phenomenal. The fact that he can function as a fullback in the modern NFL is phenomenal. But I would also argue that if Howard Griffith played today, he would still function as a fullback in the end. Or he would just switch to running back and just be a bruiser that could catch or a tight end or some shit. But no, yeah, I think he can absolutely do that, but that play wouldn't work. Like the linebackers are too fast. It's they'd be ready for it. As soon as he's out there, you're expecting him to block or do a trick play, some kind of quick little thing like, fucking gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, he probably just talks about him continuing to stay on it and pour it on teams and not take the pedal off the metal. I think that's the only thing that he might talk about schematically wise is that you don't give any team a chance to come back on you. Yeah. You don't turtle up, you just go after it and you keep going. This is the last game of the season. You don't have to worry about any repercussions.
As Apollo Creed said, there's no tomorrow, Rock.
Am I not turtley enough for your turtle club?
Nope.
Wrong chat there, Colin.
What do you want?
Nope, that's the correct one.
No, that's private.
That's just for us?
Yes. Nick.
Yeah.
Okay, we'd like to thank everybody who's tuning in and watching us and liking it. Please like, subscribe.
Oh well,
Appreciate everybody.
I didn't realize there was.
Yeah.
I didn't switch over to the chat.
Yep. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Nick, for.
Thanks, Clayton, for joining in, and everybody else that's tuned in right now. I didn't realize. I forgot to click on the other chat. I'm sorry.
There were 5 viewers up there.
I don't get that. I don't see that. I see live, and I see our ugly mugs.
I don't get it.
But you still always thank everyone.
I usually do. And then here you go, just like sending messages in the private chat, and I'm like, "What are you doing, Colin? You're throwing everything off."
Yeah,
I'm not thankful. I don't actually celebrate Thanksgiving.
Oh Lord, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited for Sunday, but the biggest reason I'm excited for Sunday is because pitchers and catchers report next week. Baseball season starts. Baseball season starts. Baseball season just around the corner.
Baseball.
Swing, batter, swing, batter, swing.
Hey, we saw Truck Day last week. Truck Day is exciting because everything gets loaded in.
So pitchers and catchers report, and then spring training happens after that. So then we can start the Chris Bryant home run count.
Games don't start for a little bit, but
okay.
Nick was in the middle of the trucks are packed and moving.
Yes. I'm all excited. I've looked at the new spring training caps. I do like them. They are very nice.
I have not seen them.
You have not seen them yet, I take it.
Yes, I don't know. So my every day this week I've worked. My shortest day has been 11 hours.
Oh, nice.
14 yesterday and 13 today, just over 13 today. Yeah, so I know I've sent you guys some messages. You can probably guess where I'm sending those from. Not the kitchen.
Work. Yeah.
In the kitchen, Meg.
So yeah, I've been very busy, and the things that I've been able to catch up on have been very limited, and they've only really been a lot of headlines, to be honest, this week. If it's crossed the news wire and I found it interesting, I've looked at it, but so
you don't
I'll
find
dive
baseball
into
interesting. That's what you're saying.
I say that it hasn't crossed the news wire yet. I do find it interesting because before this week, I have 6 trips ready for this summer. 6 baseball stadiums. Nick, how about you?
Planning 2 right now, maybe 3.
Okay, cool.
One of them I can go hang out with my best friend at his house in Florida and get 2 ballparks in one weekend.
Florida.
Oh, are you going to do the Rockies and Marlins?
The Rays?
Well, Tampa Bay, and what's your second park?
You said Rockies and Marlins.
I know.
Yeah, the Marlins are.
I'm going to go just watch whoever. I don't care.
You said you were going to do two teams, so I figured you were doing the Marlins also.
Yeah, Marlins and the Rays. You said Rockies.
Yeah, Rockies play the Marlins, obviously, this year.
I'm sure they're going to be
Rockies play the Marlins.
No, I'm not planning it that accordingly. Okay. I don't care.
Well, no, that's fine, because I planned my trip to Miami also. So that's why I was asking.
Oh,
if you were going for the Rockies series.
I just yelled at the city of Detroit for overcharging for hotels in a 15-block radius.
So where's the second city?
I'm thinking about Cincinnati. I got to see if they're going to. I kind of want to go out there for opening weekend because if they still do the parade like they've always done, but they haven't done since like 2020, I'd like to see that.
We're on to Cincinnati.
So we'll see. Here are the.
You should come down to Arizona with me.
Well, we'll have to talk about that offline.
No, everyone should come down. Let's go. Everyone listening and watching right now, let's go to Arizona for baseball reasons. Spring training hats. They look like baseball hats to me.
Yeah, but they're not the normal baseball hats.
No.
Why are there so many bright yellow ones?
Because there's a lot of teams with yellow.
A lot of teams who added yellow into their scheme.
That feels like too many. Which one is the purple one? There it is. I'm like, which one is the Rockies? Oh, duh, the only purple
dark
one. Purple.
I like
it is a
Cubs
sweet
one
color
better.
scheme. You can't like. Obviously, I clown on the Rockies constantly and incessantly, but you can't argue that the uniforms are clean.
They
Too
are,
bad the team.
especially the pinstripes.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of their vest tops, by the way.
Yeah, no vest tops.
That's
Fleece vest.
stupid.
We
Those
don't
are my
get
favorite.
we don't get any Schmedian pictures anymore.
That was my favorite.
Ooh.
No, those are good. Those
Or do you
I
the
do like
manager
them.
wearing this medium? I just think of the guy from Major League with the giant gut and the baseball uniform.
The coach.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
was like, Lou Brown?
Yeah.
It's usually the coach. I mean, unless you're Vogelbach, usually it's the coach with the big gut.
Or Rowdy Tellez?
Rowdy Tellez, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or
I'm surprised it's not more
Barcelo
Matt
had one.
Stairs?
No, Matt Stairs.
Yeah,
was
Matt
still,
Stairs was chunky boy.
Yeah, but he was still ripped.
Yeah,
so was there
you're
like
still
an
chunky
Ed
boy, though.
Hockley of
DC
NBA
Sabathia.
of MLB managers?
No, those are players.
Pudge Rodriguez before he met Jose Canseco,
Oh.
allegedly.
Yeah. Pudge still.
Well, Aaron Judge is pretty good. Oh, you're talking about like fat guys.
Bellies, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they wore
Vogelbach is
such
just a
baggy
big
clothes,
boy.
so it's
Vogelbach,
hard to
yeah.
tell. But you know, Babe Ruth always looks like he was never really in that great of shape. You know,
Yep,
there he
it
is. Oh, that's right. I always think that's a giant foot, and it's actually just a base. I want it to be a comically large foot.
It's a shadow.
You're a shadow.
He's calling a shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited. I mean, the
Big
second
feet.
that clock winds down to 000s on Sunday, that's the happiest day of the year for me.
I'm happy for you, buddy.
It gets closer and closer, and the fun really does. I mean, begin for baseball. It's such a build up, and then that's the problem with baseball is they can't keep that momentum after the first month in a lot of places.
Well,
sure.
actually, you know what? I did see something though about speaking of momentum.
Are they going to have an in-season tournament?
No, but they're going to allow MLB players to play in the Olympics in 2028.
Good.
Cool.
So the MLBPA has to approve it.
So we're going to dominate the Olympics now in another sport. Hell yeah.
Olympics will provide insurance coverage for the players when they play. The seasons that they do it, it sounds like they're going to reduce the number of games to 158, and they will either cancel or delay the All-Star game. They have not decided yet.
I mean, that sounds like a fair trade-off for a chance to play in the Olympics.
For the Olympics? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'll forego the All-Star game.
You know what did this? It was the World Baseball Classic.
I mean,
that raked in the views. People were excited all around. I mean, you saw all the fans from Japan and Venezuela
you win,
going nuts. No.
Could you imagine
I was
like a Team USA versus a Team Japan in an Olympic like playoff round of some sort or a final? I don't know how they work. How they
a few years ago.
Yeah, but like again in the Olympics as a rematch, like dude, with like bigger stakes because it's the fucking Olympics.
It just doesn't affect the WBC. I love the WBC.
I'm sure it'll still.
It's not as expensive as the Olympics will be.
Yeah,
it could be as one of those things where like Team USA in like Eurobasket or in like the World Cup where they bring in a bunch of like star level players, but not like superstar level players. Which is fun to watch in that sense too. And then, you know, maybe if they lose, the stars are like, fuck it, we're going to show up. Like this year, we're going to have, you know, Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and LeBron James. All of it, you know. I'm still going to enjoy watching Jokic and Bogdanovic and the guys over in Serbia. But, yeah, Team USA is going to fucking have a stacked roster for the Olympics this year. So it'll be fun to have baseball and basketball because it'll both be summer events, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be kind of sweet. You know, I'll probably end up watching some baseball. That'll be kind of crazy.
The thing that you're getting with the Olympics too that's different than the WBC is the WBC was at the start of the season or before the season.
Yeah, this is mid-season.
So you'll have these commits and you'll have some backups and you'll have some guys who also just aren't going to play in it, like who get injured, for example. You're going to have some movement on there. So it's going to be interesting because your team has to qualify for the Olympics through like pool play. So, I mean, typically that's how it happens. I don't know if it'll be the same thing for baseball, if they'll just let any, 9 guys put on a cap and bring a glove out to the ballpark.
Let's go, fellas! Right now, I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play for
Team USA to get us
qualified.
Yeah,
I got a Team USA hat right now.
So it'll
I'll
be
stand there and
interesting.
catch the stuff.
It'll be interesting to see how they do the qualifiers, especially for Team USA and the guys who are playing in it, and if their rosters, how they have to be set and when they have to be set by.
Yeah,
because some of these other, I mean, the Korean baseball plays different seasons than
KBO's in the winter.
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting thing. I'm sure Major League Baseball has some provisions in there. Excuse me, what?
I'm sorry, the Australians too.
Oh, yes, that's right. We'll see. I think it'll be good. It'll be really good baseball is what I'm trying to get to because these guys will already be in playing shape. You just got to wonder if these guys playing during the season from whatever country they play in the major leagues, what happens to their eligibility?
Major leagues are in America.
No, they come from different countries, Joe. So these guys playing in the majors, like how the eligibility goes, and for those squads, what type of parameters do they have in place to replace players or injured guys? I don't know how the rosters have to be set because, in basketball, I'm sure they have to, I mean, Joe, you probably know more about this than I would for the Olympics, if you do. But I would assume that you have to have your roster in and set by the time you're qualified. Like that's
because you'll have warm-up games, you'll have practice sessions and shit. So they have most of the available player pool announced, like the guys that they're looking at. There's a few other people that might add their names to the list because there's still time to do that.
They play in those pool games, but at the end of it, I'm talking about. After they're done with pool play, they have to have their roster for the tournament.
I think they'd have it before the qualifying games. So they just have like most of their guys already. That right now they're just dwindling it down and figuring out who the hell they're going to go with. I think they said the coach is going to be Steve Kerr.
So I don't think you're getting my question.
Yeah, your question is when do they whittle down the roster? And I'm telling you, they have to do it before they play like qualifier games because they have to have before they start practicing, they have to know who the roster is.
So those guys that play in all the pool play games are the guys who are on the roster, or could be. Those are the guys that are on the roster that play in pool play. Or does the roster change can the roster change at the end of pool play for like injuries and such?
Well, yeah,
because I'm pretty sure because I thought that some guys came and played in like pool play and then weren't on like the final roster for the Olympics or those other events.
I don't know about that. I know like some guys.
That's more what I'm talking about.
Some guys didn't get a lot of playing time. Like Walker Kessler didn't play a ton because Jared Jackson Jr. was the guy. But they were all still on the roster. Like, they also don't always choose everyone when they're like whittling down the players. They'll say, well, this guy's not going to end up making it or whatever. But like, no, they whittle it down pretty much right before. And then, they'll do some practices and stuff and start playing those qualifier games. And then, I think they've already qualified, but like they'll have warm up games and shit, friendlies and such, like they did for the what was it, World Cup last year.
Yeah, because I mean, for example, for the USA to qualify, do they get all the big names? I mean, the Trouts, the Harpers, these guys to go play in these pool play games. That's what I'm saying. Or is it college kids again, or AA players, minor league guys that are playing these games to try and get the USA to qualify?
So right now, USA Basketball revealed the 41-player pool that will decide who represents Team USA at the Olympics. The 12-member 2024 USA men's national team that will compete in the basketball tournament in Paris in 2024 will be announced later. So right now they're at a 41-man roster.
So it just says later. So they go through pool play, and anyone can play in pool play.
Yeah, well, any one of these 41 that they have.
Yeah.
So Trae Young, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Duncan Robinson,
but they have to choose a team from
Bobby,
that 41 first.
Yes, Bobby Portis, Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell, Dame Lillard, Kawhi Leonard, Walker Kessler, Cam Johnson, LeBron James, Jaren Jackson Jr., Kyrie Irving, Brandon Ingram, Chet Holmgren, Drew Holiday, Tyler Hero, Josh Hart, James Harden, Tyrese Halliburton, AG, Paul George, De'Aaron Fox, Joel Embiid, Anthony Edwards, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Stephen Curry, Alex Caruso, Jimmy Butler, Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown, Mikal Bridges, Devin Booker, Scotty Barnes, Desmond Bane, Paolo Banchero, Jared Allen, and Bam Adebayo.
Okay, so we'll see.
I just want to see some of those lower
baseball.
tier guys. Like, I want to see Alex Caruso make Team USA.
No, you don't.
No.
So
yes,
we'll
I
see.
do.
So
Yes,
we'll see
I
how what happens with baseball and their pool play, and how that affects that. That's got to be part of the agreement. I'm sure that they're discussing.
Baseball, you're gonna have a 25-man roster probably.
Yeah,
24, 25.
But you got to get a group of guys to play in those qualifiers. I mean, or else then you're asking guys who are not going to be on the final roster to try and secure your spot as for the major leaguers, for the other guys.
Yeah.
That's not very satisfying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an accomplishment, but also it's kind of a slap in the face, like, hey, we got you here, and then you get all the glory at the Olympics type of thing. So at least they have these set, but you got to have guys who buy into the pool play. It sounds like if it's the same rules for baseball.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. It's baseball season. It's my favorite time of year.
Almost.
It's
I know.
wonderful.
Sunday. Not that I'm counting down.
Sunday. Oh yeah, but who's counting?
Yeah. Sorry. All right. Now that I'm getting my excitement out of the way, I'm going to throw a question out at you guys because we've seen what the Avs have been doing, what the Avs, are capable of. And obviously they still need help on defense. And with how bad the Sabres have been playing and how good he fits in and the fact the Avs need defense help, should EJ be considered to be brought back?
I mean, yeah, you always got to consider it, especially if you have the assets to do it, that you're like willing to get rid of that kind of, fit that. Like you don't want to give up guys that are too integral to your core that you already have, but at the same time, you need more defense, like you said. So you want to be able to, or can you give up a later draft pick or something maybe that you might not have needed to use before? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, and right now all those kind of trades need to be considered. I don't know when the NHL trade deadline is. The NBA trade deadline is going to be tomorrow as time of recording, which I'm sure we'll get into here in a little bit. But I don't know, man. I feel like they're going to consider a whole bunch of cool stuff, and I'm excited to see. And I would love it if it was a guy that we already knew and we're familiar with, and like
March 8th,
know what he can do and what he brings. And he's going to show up and he's going to hit people and he's not going to have teeth, and that sounds great.
Yeah, you just said it. March 8th. NHL trade deadline is always late. It feels like.
Yeah,
basketball one should be.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah, no.
I like it being a little bit later.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends, kind of like Jess said, on what you're giving up. Because we all know, we said it last year, EJ isn't long for the NHL, but having another reunion run with the Avs would be good, and I think he could help to stabilize some of the defensive miscues that these guys have had and continue to teach the guys. Some of the guys might regret not learning all they could have from EJ while he was here.
Yeah.
And bringing him back might be a sign that these guys realize they don't have long to learn what it takes to be, a 20-year player in the NHL. And so EJ can teach those guys some of those things, and they might be more prone to listen. But you also can't give up the future for a guy that you could have kept this offseason.
So here's another name then. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, he's a key part of this organization, so I think they should, if they can, they should bring him back. But you can't sacrifice the future when you already made the decision not to re-sign him or give him the money this offseason or this past offseason.
So here's another name that popped up the other day.
Sidney Crosby.
No.
Alex Ovechkin?
No. It's another defenseman, and his name is Tyson Barrie.
I don't know how he's done since he left, but he's solid. It's another name that we know that'd be fun to see.
He wants out of Nashville.
Sure.
I was going to say,
okay.
But isn't
Because he
he?
went walking in Nashville.
He's another offensive defenseman, though.
Hey,
I don't think that. Not
That's
that
kind of okay though.
Not that I dislike
having
Barrie.
a diet Cale Makar for when Makar is not on the ice. I'm okay with that.
I'm not. I mean, I'm not excited about that. It's not that I dislike him. I think that if you're bringing in a defenseman, you're trying to look for something different to add another wrinkle to your team, and you're just bringing in diet Cale Makar. Which, if it was really like it's off-brand diet Cale Makar, all right? This is Big K Diet Cola.
Big K Diet Cale Makar. I was gonna say that.
Okay.
As soon as you said off-brand, I'm glad we're on the same page.
This is not just Diet Cale Makar. Like, I mean, granted, no one's really Diet
caffeine-free Diet Cale Makar.
Yeah, caffeine-free Diet Big K.
Big K.
Cale Makar. That's what Tyson Barrie really is in comparison to Cale Makar. I'm not trying to say he's not a good player, but you just can't put him in Cale Makar's category, okay?
No, he's not. He's in Cale Makar's style. Anybody can play the same style and not be good.
So is Sam Girard.
Yeah,
trying to be offensive. But
exactly.
But you never put those
because he's too small. Of course you don't put them on
the
ice at the same time.
Yeah.
You put them on at different times. If every one of your guys has that capability, obviously none of them are going to be even close to Cale Makar, but like that's a style. That's a way to run your team. I'd rather have more guys that can do more, varied things than everyone does the same shit. But if they score goals, fuck it.
Yeah, but what happens when your defensemen need to be stoppers on the penalty kill? I mean, what happens when you have a 5-on-3 disadvantage? Like, those are things that you need those specialists there.
You put them
short-handed goal
together.
What?
You don't put them on the ice at the same time together. You put Sammy G and Tyson Barrie on two different lines. Then everything's fine. You put them with a real defenseman, and everything's fine.
What could possibly go wrong?
And who's the fucking real defenseman on this team? Besides Cale Makar.
Josh Manson?
Head up by 25. I'm sure there's
Is
somebody
Manson
there.
still there?
Yeah,
Manson's
Manson scored
right?
a goal yesterday.
There you go. We've got Josh Maryland, Charles Manson.
No, I think you're looking for a different type of defensive presence.
Manson family reunion.
Yeah, and then you see what happens in the offseason. And you can bring back Tyson Barrie in the offseason if you lose some guys or move on from some players. But I think it's too much of the same. And then when you become too one note, it's easier to stop you because you get those teams that game plan for you.
Yeah.
And I think the Avs can be game plan for right now.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if they bring in a whole bunch of guys that do the same shit.
Just not as good.
You just do the fucking what the Golden Knights did a couple years ago and just put in all of the bruiser fuckers that will not even try to score a goal. Just beat the hell out of you for a couple of periods. And then you have nothing left.
Then you hope to get a lucky bounce.
That's all you can do. Well, obviously, I don't think they're actually going to go for something like that. They might, if Manson and some of those guys can kind of play some more actual defensive minutes, you can see that sort of working out. But Yeah, I don't know. I don't love the idea of going uber finesse anyway. The mix was, obviously it's what won the Stanley Cup, but that was really what felt like the way to go. Like still the blinding speed, of course, but like you had Nazem Kadri, you had EJ, you had Manson, you had Cogliano was getting more ice time and stuff. Guys that could quote unquote defend, to say it like a basketball analyst guy. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see for sure. I still like the idea of trying to get a backup goaltender too, or bring in a guy that could kind of split some time with Georgie, or contract for it. But yeah, I would prefer definitely a kind of a more bruiser type guy. Here's a thought. What about Eric Johnson? I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, you reminded me of it. I forgot about it. Joe, real quick, we'll just jump into the Nuggets since the trade deadline's tomorrow. What are your thoughts?
I would like to see maybe just another depth piece, something that kind of like Colin and I talked about it. I think it was the last pod, about how Reggie Jackson wasn't necessarily a piece for last year. He was more of a piece for this year, even though he was brought in last year. But if somebody had gone down, he would have been there kind of as a reserve. I feel like the Nuggets are not necessarily top heavy, but top 8 heavy, where, you're looking at Julian Strother, you're looking at Zeke Naji, you're looking at Jalen Pickett or Colin Gillespie, if you have any issues with any of these guys. So it'd be nice to bring in a defensive forward maybe of some sort, so that Peyton Watson doesn't have to do as much, or more of a wing guy that can take some time from Christian Brown's plate. Or if any of those guys go down, you'll have guys that can come in and give you quality minutes at whatever position. The Nuggets were linked to Monte Morris to an extent, but he just got traded today from the Pistons to be the backup point guard for Minnesota. So that's actually going to potentially be something the Nuggets see in the playoffs, is Monte Morris running the bench unit for the Timberwolves.
I'm fine with that.
Good for him, huh?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm a little sad. I like Monte. He would have been a nice little guy to bring back in to have around, but I don't really want to mess with this core too much. Just somebody that you could count on, but you don't have to see. I guess the best minutes getter would be DeAndre Jordan. But he's almost a minutes getter at this point, so that'd be kind of cool. There was talks of Dario Saric potentially being brought in as a backup big to get a little bit more backup big minutes. But I don't see the Nuggets going after any of those, bigger free agent guys, of DeJounte Murray or D'Angelo Russell. I think is off the table now. The Lakers kind of like him, from what I understand. They might not be looking to trade him away, which is, I think, hilarious. So yeah, go for it. Don't trade D'Angelo Russell and see how that works for you in the playoffs when teams with good point guards just attack him constantly. But sorry, what do you say, Colin?
No, I was going to say, I think the Nuggets stay pat when you're going through those names. The only thing that the Nuggets should do here, you hope and pray that the starters stay healthy.
Yep, knock on wood.
And you said it at the start, the Nuggets have a solid 8, and that's all you need in the playoffs. So if you are going to bring in anybody, it's just a guy to fill minutes during this end run of the season. And I think they honestly have the guys on this roster to fill those minutes, and guys who deserve those minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't have an issue like last year where you have Bones Highland being a dumbass and a quitter. You don't have those types of situations that you had last year sitting there in problems. We knew there was a problem on this team last year. This year, there isn't a problem on the team. So I think the Nuggets stand pat. And yeah, you could say these other teams are getting better, but I think the Nuggets are staying better because of chemistry than other teams adding players. We saw what happened when Kevin Durant came over to the Suns last year.
Yeah.
It was a clusterfuck.
We all knew it was going to be to begin with.
And they did it again, bringing in Bradley Beal. And that's been a flustercluck. with Bradley Beal. They haven't been able to get everyone together, and he did go off in his return to Washington, which is really cool for him to see. Because I have nothing against Bradley Beal. I'm also not scared of him. So, but yeah, no, I would. I don't think that Zeke Naji is a problem like Bones Highland, but I feel like he is a player that would be addition by subtraction. If you could turn him into just anything useful, because right now I think he's not that, and you could conceivably just not care and move on. Hopefully somebody else thinks, you know what, fuck it, we'll give him some minutes, and maybe he turns into something, send him to Detroit, send him to Memphis, Charlotte, somewhere that doesn't give a shit this year and is just going to play a bunch of dudes. It'd be cool to get a guy that, kind of like Colin and I both said, someone that's not necessarily threatening for bench minutes, but just somebody that you could rely on for some minutes if somebody went down, or if somebody has just a huge slump or whatever, just someone to have there, or just someone to come in and play like some lockdown defense on some people. It's too bad they don't have more money to throw around, because I would love to get a guy like, 39-year-old PJ Tucker to just lock down some random motherfucker. That would be pretty fun, but they don't have the money for that, and they don't necessarily need it. It would just be cool to see. Maybe someone that shoots some threes, but Malone's also said a million times that he doesn't want role players. He wants guys that can do a little bit of everything. Yeah. So a guy like Luke Kennard, who has a great 3-point percentage and is absolutely available, doesn't play great defense. I don't know how much Malone would like him, and he might just end up sitting anyway. So, whatever. But
yeah, I don't think. I mean, the name you mentioned, the Nuggets giving up Najee. I don't think that should be on the table. No. I think he's another big guy, and
he's too important to the team in his own unique way.
Well, no, he's been really bad this year. He's not important. He doesn't even get minutes.
That's my point.
At all.
He's not getting minutes now, but where's his value is worse. Like you're not getting any type of potential upside like Zeke Naji has shown in some flashes. I know he hasn't been good and he's not playing, but he's at least shown some flashes that he has the ability. And I don't think you're getting anyone in return to do that. And these minutes that we're asking guys to eat up are not quality minutes either. No. So if you're giving Najee a chance to keep going, and if he doesn't succeed, then at the end of the season, his contract should be up this year, I believe, right?
No, they signed him to an extension, and he's done nothing.
Was that this last off? Okay.
Yeah, they signed him to a deal. That's why he's one of the biggest trade rumor pieces, because he's been really bad this year. He's always kind of just had a basketball IQ problem. And now that he makes like $5-6 million, you can move that for a decent player, or send him to somebody for some picks and they can buy him out, and he can sign somewhere maybe or whatever. But no, he really has not been like the backup big minutes have all gone to DeAndre Jordan. Like Zeke Naji has just fallen off completely. He kind of feels like Bull, where he looked kind of cool at one point, but it's over. Like he's not. If he doesn't get traded at the deadline, it'll be because nobody wanted him. And they probably end up making him part of some kind of deal in the offseason, I would imagine, unless he has some crazy resurgence because he gets some playing time out of nowhere. But yeah, I think he's a guy that needs to get moved on from, because it
is gone.
Well,
I guess we know what that means.
It's time to transition away from stories and to
figure out whose money's gone.
Yes.
To the undrafted.
Wrong song.
No.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
I'm going to pick him segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin just kind of winging it.
Well, since Joe decided to leave us, we'll get into this. And again. Not really. It's on repeat, of course. Still, I had to reset it. Well, we'll get into it. So, 2 of us went 1-2, and 1 of us went 3-0. I wonder who it was. First game we chose of this last week was Duke versus North Carolina. I chose North Carolina along with Joe. That means, Nick, you're obviously not the perfect one this week.
I knew.
In our second game, it was the Bucks versus the Jazz. Nick, you correctly chose the Jazz.
Oh.
So did Joe, and that means I chose the Bucks. And Nick and I both chose the Maple Leafs. Joe chose the Islanders as the only favorite or plus money one this week to win. The Islanders beat the Maple Leafs. So that means at the end of this week that Joe going 3-0 won $57.97. Nick lost $1.07, and I lost $4.95. Bringing the new totals to, I'm sitting at first in 154.26. We have a new player in second. Joe with the $57, the perfect week, the sweep, moves into second by 28 cents.
So Utah beat Doc Rivers in Milwaukee? I'm shocked.
Yeah, they did. 57.97 brings you 106.42, 28 cents ahead of Nick, 106.14. So
3 dimes, really?
Three dimes. It all counts and it all adds up.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. And since we're at that hour mark, we'll have a new set of games for this weekend to pick.
28 cents.
And we're going to start adding in a few random things since baseball season is up. But there's a new player in second. And hey, in 1 week, that $57 brought Joe from third to second. Could be a second to first. Nick, you could go from third to first if I have another bad week.
Worst to first?
Don't plan on it. Don't plan on it.
Don't call it a comeback.
No.
I might have some dreams this weekend. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm gonna try to.
I hate picking these games right now this weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, isn't it? It's gonna be real hard to do.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I got a 17-hour day tomorrow, so let's go and wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you, Michael Stone, and everybody over at e5280sports.com for having us on. Also, thank you to our new sponsor, Pike Speak Sports Cards. Make sure you check them out as well. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight, part of the program. Clayton, always a pleasure to have you on there, my brother.
Yeah.
For Joe Goodwin and Colin Zanker, I'm Nick Archuleta. This has been the Undrafted Uncensored. Until next time, we love you all. Pokey.
Like, subscribe, share. Please. Thank you.